My 23 male horrible family contacted me after years because they wanted me to help them. Let me start this by saying that this entire situation was overwhelming for many different reasons. When I grew up, my parents and my sister treated me badly through my entire childhood. Because while my sister, who is 2 years older than me, was an intended child, I wasn't. And they exactly treated me this way while they spoiled her rotten. Going into details about my childhood is something I want to avoid, but I guess it doesn't hurt me to give you an impression. My parents treated me more like a slave, as I had to do all of the chores when I came home from school, and I slept in the guest room on a dirty couch, while my sister had a big room with a big bed. They even invented a 2-class meal system for me and my sister, where I was only allowed to eat, let alone sit down at a table when they and her were done eating. Meaning, basically, I ate their leftovers. They were also physically harming me, as my mom and dad loved to beat me whenever something from the chores wasn't done correctly. My sister was no better. I wasn't a sibling to her, more like a housemaid. She loved bullying me at school and at home. She even told lies to the only friends I had so they wouldn't like me anymore. She told them I was talking bad behind their backs. Any explanation attempt failed, so for the most part, I was alone during my childhood that was filled with tears and pain. When I turned 18, they kicked me out of the house and they probably didn't expect what came next. I completely cut any contact and built my life for myself. I found my first real job, and from that point on, my life only went forward, and I never wanted to look back ever again. My life got better and better, as I then got a much better paying job. Now, I was able to afford an apartment. My life went well, and I became a high supervisor in the company I worked for. Remembering my parents' jobs, I probably make more each month than both of them combined. And since I lived alone in a quite modest apartment, my income far exceeded my financial expenses, meaning that I was able to save a lot of money. Before I explain what happened now, I need to mention that my sister had a condition from an early age. As I am not an immature a-hole, I won't go into any details about it. This is a matter that only concerns my sister and her doctor, and maybe my parents. I respect that and don't interfere, but I still have to mention it for this story to make sense. Okay, fast forward to a few months ago. I received a call from an unknown number. I haven't talked to them for quite a while, so I didn't recognize the voice at first. But it was my mother. When I realized who it was, I just wanted to hang up, but I think she saw that coming and begged me to not hang up and let her explain why she called. She slowly started to apologize and ask if we could meet. She said I don't have to talk to her. She just wants me to listen to what she has to say. I honestly still don't know how she found out my phone number. Whatever. I agreed since I had 2 weeks off from my work anyway, and honestly, she's really good at persuading people. Besides that, I had a plan. Well, we agreed to meet at a local cafe the next week. And when they came, I was surprised to see my father there too. When they saw me, both of them smiled at me widely and hugged me tight. I pushed them away and told them I'm not comfortable with this, and they apologized immediately. This was strange, really strange. They never behaved this way towards me, and I felt something was off, and I asked them to tell me why they want to talk to me. The next hour was them explaining how sorry they are, and how deeply they regret treating me the way they did. It was so awkward, but then they finally got to the point. My mom explained that my sister still lived with them and that her condition got way worse. She needs a specific surgery that would help her, but her health care is so expensive for them that they cannot afford it while having to deal with the other expenses. And the longer they wait, her condition would get worse, and it would get more expensive. What they basically told me was they were in a financial downward spiral. They told me that their insurance company refuses to cover the surgery, so they have to find another solution. They told me that they saw a photo of a company meeting at my company on Facebook that a coworker had shared, and I also was on the photo, so they figured that I was now successful. Honestly, I don't like that word. It sounds so snobby. Then said they know they have no right to ask me for this, but they asked if I could help them financially. I stayed quiet the whole time, and when they were done explaining, I asked them to meet my sister. Surprisingly, she was in a hospital, and that is also why she couldn't come too. She had a separate room, and when she saw me, she also smiled with delight. You guys understand why I still think this was super awkward and weird, right? However, we talked a bit, and I asked her and my parents why I should help them. I wanted to confront all of them at the same time. I just talked and released all the suppressed emotions at once. I told every one of them how much they hurt me over the years and all the horrible things they did to me. I also knew that I had the power of their fate in my hands now. When I was done with everything, I just left the room without looking back. And you can't imagine how good I felt getting all of this off my chest. And then I decided to actually play the power move. I did something that probably none of them expected. Yes, I actually paid for surgery. A surgery that could possibly make her condition stable for a very long time. I could have decided right there and then to never look back and just let her rot. But instead, I decided to help them. I think that this was way more powerful. I also knew that this would probably make them feel way more guilty and regretful for what they did to me. I had seen Schindler's List a few weeks before all of that happened. I'm not lying when I say that a famous quote from Oskar Schindler inspired me to do this. That power is when we have every justification to kill and we don't. I asked a young doctor to go into their room now and tell them that the surgery would be paid. I then left the hospital and drove home. My sister texted me and said that she's so thankful that I did this for her, that she feels so horrible for treating me how she had treated me, blah blah blah. Where are we? In a drama series? The same texts also came from my parents. By the way, the surgery went well. I feel in peace with myself. I feel good. Till today, they often text me and ask if we could meet. What an interesting turn of events. Edit. For those who don't understand the power move, if I would have just left my sister to rot in her hospital bed, I wouldn't be any better than them. Me paying proves I will always be the better person. I know who I am, and I know that helping her was the right thing to do, even if some of you might not agree. Because even after all the trauma and pain they inflicted on me, I still am a good person who was able to keep his humanity, unlike them. If this makes you think they won, then I don't know what to tell you. And guys, don't need to worry. I'm going to block them soon, as I'm not ready to reconcile in the near future. I just want to see how hard they're gonna try to get my attention again. Now for the top comments. You do know that unless you block them, they will keep making demands and ask for money. Who said I'm gonna give it to them? You already did OP, but then if it helps you on your path to healing, then why not? Nope, I didn't pay for the surgery because they demanded it, but to prove that I am better than they ever will be. I don't feel the need to treat people like trash. Brace yourself for the many surgeries or things they're gonna ask you for from now on. If you think that they feel more guilty or whatever, you are wrong. Now they think you're free game and would mooch off you because you are a good person who still craves his family's attention. If you think this is the end, you are so wrong. The surgery was a real thing. I made sure it was. And they haven't asked for anything in the last months. They only asked for me to meet them, and I told them they won't get anything more from me. Next story. My pregnant ex keeps trying to move into my apartment, plus many updates. Original post. This is my friend's story that I'm posting for him because he doesn't have an account and wants people to hear about this. Also, for convenience sake, I'm going to write this in first-person point of view because pronouns are hard to keep up with. So I, 21 male, have an ex, Angelica, 20 female. Angelica and I had an on and off relationship since we were about 15, but got serious when COVID hit and I had to move back to my hometown. We got an apartment together, and very soon after, she started spending a lot of time with her cousin. Long story short, she's boning her fake cousin, and we break up. We've been broken up 9 months at this point. For 7 of those months, her phone has been on my phone bill, and she owes me over $500. Fine, whatever. I'll never see that $500, and she always makes excuses to pay me back. That's life. My own fault for letting her keep using me as a cash cow. She also took my car when we broke up, and I let her because I was too afraid she would try to take my apartment too. Anyway, it's 9 months past our breakup. I get a message. Hey, I'm pregnant. I'm on my way home from work, so I don't respond. That is 9 months past being my problem. It is not my baby. She messages me again. My boyfriend, the one she cheated on me with, and I have nowhere to stay. Still, 9 months past my problem. Angelica has never worked a day in her life. She lives off the disability check from her boyfriend and spends 99% of it on weed and fast food. She never paid rent and is documented to never pay rent. Anyway, she tells me, my name is still on the lease. We're going to move in September. I tell her, your name is not on the lease. It was renewed last month and I took your name off. I'm sorry. She messages me calling me an a-hole and saying she's moving in. because she has nowhere for her baby and 3 dogs to stay. Mind you, my apartment is more like a studio and barely fits me, let alone 2 other people and 3 dogs. I tell her it's not happening. I'm moving out of town soon anyway. Also to come pick up her things that she's left at my apartment for 9 months. She says no, and that if I throw it away, she's going to press charges. I tell her it doesn't matter, because when I move, I'm throwing it away. She later called my landlord and told him I was planning to move out. I got upset at this and told her I ran the numbers on a car as it's still in my name. Get the car out of my name now, or I'm repossessing it, or she can leave me the heck alone. She started bawling on a call asking how could I do this to her and her unborn child, and I was condemning her and her child to be homeless. She also still has a firearm in my name that I told her to give back or I'm calling the cops. I'm really considering repossessing the car since it was mine from the start and is still in my name. She doesn't deserve to get a free car handed to her. She needs to wake up. She keeps saying she needs a place to stay, that I'm ruining her and her baby's life. It's literally my apartment that she has never once paid rent on. I don't know how she thinks she's entitled to just live in my apartment with the guy she cheated on me with, and 3 dogs. I hope the baby ends up okay. It's not his fault its mother is a spoiled brat. But I also hope being homeless and carless wakes her the heck up. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Dude, your friend needs to file several police reports, like yesterday. First and foremost, for the firearm that she has in her possession that's registered in his name. If he hasn't reported it stolen and she uses it in any kind of crime, he's gonna get charges on him for not keeping track of it at the very least. And the car. Who has the title? Did he sign it over to her? If not, that needs to be reported stolen as well. Yep, this dude's life is about to get freaking wrecked. OP needs to sit down with him and write it all down in a to-do list and check off every one of those boxes from most important to last. The ex can really mess his life up. Granted, she isn't smart, but could easily Google a how-to. Yes, and the list as follows. 1. Call the police and report the car as stolen. 2. Ditto and report the weapon as stolen. 3. Get her off the phone plan if he hasn't already. 4. File a small claims court case for the $500. 5. Make sure all paperwork for the dog comes back to you alone. 6. Get a restraining order or stay away order of protection from your local court. Use the stolen firearm and car and threats against your home and pet as the reasons. 7. Sit back and watch your world burn. Your friend is a doormat and really dumb. That's what I've been telling him too. Why hasn't he canceled the phone? $500? Why let it get that far? Poor sap. I hope she doesn't ruin him for the good women out there. You need to ditch the friend. He's going to drag you down with him. Nah, we don't live near each other. Very limited contact except over the phone. He's just a really nice guy, but also stupid and a doormat. Thanks though. Now for the mini updates. My friend said his ex is coming to pick up her stuff tomorrow and return the weapon. If he gets shot, I'll let you guys know, I guess. Update 2. Her and her boyfriend, the fake cousin, came to my friend's apartment, returned a gun, and picked up her stuff. Her boyfriend then proceeded to wave his own firearm around and demand to be put back on the lease. Not how that works. My friend called the cops, and they booked it out of there before the cops arrived. I'm not sure about the rest. Also, no response back from him, so I don't know at this point. Alright, final update. Phone is no longer on the phone bill, her stuff is out of his apartment, his gun is returned, dog is in his possession, still no car. He said it's not worth it at this point. My friend asked for no charges, so I doubt anything will happen. He said he's cutting her out of his life and going no contact. I'm personally upset about the car, but nothing to do about it now. Last story. I ghosted my ex 10 months ago and I couldn't be more proud of myself. My ex cheated, lied, and had a baby on me. We were supposed to get married and moved in this year. I won't go into too much details because it is in the past now, but the relationship became very toxic. And I've been hiding since then. I think he was used to me always taking him back after being nasty. I didn't know he was cheating or had a baby until we broke up. Even had nudes of a mutual friend. I was too nice. The good girl. I'm not perfect, but I saw myself totally become unrecognizable in this relationship. My mother would even beg me to get out. Anyway, one day he just crossed the line. The usual routine would be that he'd call me after work to discuss the incident, gaslight me, make it all my fault, and I'd say sorry if I wasn't at his place. So on that very day, I kept quiet as normal while he screamed at me in front of his brother and degraded me. I said, okay, thank you. Blocked, deleted him, and changed my number immediately. Ghosted 99% of our mutual friends too. I just cut off the other 1% recently too, for being gossips. I thought I wouldn't last this long. He was expecting me to be like the other women who outed him once he was cheating me on with. Lol. Nope. Not a word or explanation. I know that surprised the heck out of his friends too. They wanted me to be the crazy girlfriend. One of them even told me they were surprised by how calm I handled this. But I couldn't waste my energy on such rubbish, and I needed therapy. Anyway, time has gone by so quickly. I've spent most of this year in my flat crying my eyes out because I truly loved him. But I'm ready for 2023 now. No turning back. Say no to toxic people and friends. Wow, that's amazing. You should be proud of your strength. Well done. And you've handled that a-hole with class. Thank you so much. That means a lot. He done me really dirty. And I know he was expecting me to blast him like his other girls. But I just couldn't reduce myself to that. Besides leaving him, not playing his game is what I'm most proud of. Great. He isn't worth your time. You will find someone who deserves you and will treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Thank you. Has he tried to come by or contact you in any other way? Or is he seemingly accepting you blocking him? Good for you. He didn't even try once. It hurt initially, but told me everything I needed to know about him. He could have used so many methods to contact me. Didn't try once. I can't believe I fell in love with such a person. Very eye-opening. He has already moved on. And it's not even with a pregnant woman last I heard. Am I the a-hole for ruining my brother's date night and having him come pick his 3-year-old son up after I dropped him off at my house right before my shift? I, male 32, have a brother, male 30, Kevin, who is a single dad to a 3-year-old. Kevin lives in the same city as me. We don't have any family or relatives here, just a few friends. Kevin has a habit of dumping his kid on me at random times to watch while he goes out on dates with women. So far, he's gone out for 4 dates while expecting me to watch my nephew. It bothered me because I have work commitments. I'm a nurse, and my schedule can be unpredictable. And so it caused me issues at work for dropping his kid off at my house without telling me first. Last week he did it again. He came over at 6 p.m. and entered my house with my nephew. He had a spare key while I was showering and left the house immediately. I got out of the shower and was shocked to see my nephew standing there alone. He asked where his dad was, and he said he just left. I knew he wanted me to watch my nephew, but I called him several times on the phone and he did not pick up. I was so mad and almost freaking out because I was getting late for my shift. I sent him a text telling him to come pick his son up right now, or I'd call cops on him for child abandonment. He texted back begging that I suck it up just this time because he had an important date and he couldn't live in the middle of it. I told him that I was serious and I'd do it and gave him 10 minutes to get home. He got home looking pissed and started yelling at me for ruining his dates and making him leave in the middle of it, just because I couldn't bother to skip one damn shift to watch my nephew. I told him I never agreed to watch his son. It made me do it. He said that it was an emergency, which made me laugh because calling a date night emergency is just absurd. Long story short, he left with my nephew but hasn't stopped blaming me for spoiling his date and probably causing damage to the relationship between him and his potential girlfriend. It's been a week. And he's still salty about it, demanding I make it up to him and call his date and lie to her and tell her some sob story about why he had to leave like that. But I said I won't do that. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He had an important date. He said that it was an emergency. Were they defusing a bomb together or something? I'm sorry. I just laughed so hard at this. Like, yeah, calling it an emergency is just not it, I guess. Change your locks, man. This. Brother should not have access to your home because he will keep doing this. Not stay home. Change your locks. And put your brother's number on Do Not Disturb. He can hire a sitter if he wants to go out so badly. This. Change your locks. This is absolutely dangerous, and I would call CPS. How does he even have sole custody? The only reason I can think of is that the mother is completely absent. Death, abandoned the awful brother, etc. Not stay home, and you probably saved some poor young woman from having your nephew dumped on her. Your brother isn't dating. He's looking for a mommy mukbang maid. This is exactly what I was thinking. I hate when people aren't upfront about having kids and try to ambush people from dates to parenthood. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking a colleague to mind her own business after my dad groomed my mom and reporting her to my manager for this? A bit of background. It was my mom's 53 female birthday a few weeks ago. My dad's 64 male decided to treat her to a dinner in her favorite restaurant. It's worth mentioning that my dad does not speak English, and my mom is not a native speaker either, but she's pretty fluent in it. My mom also looks significantly younger than she is due to working out, diets, and different beauty therapies, while my dad looks his age. So one of the waitresses pulled my mom aside and asked if she had been groomed by my dad. My mother thought that being groomed means being taken care of and treated, so she replied positively. After that, she couldn't understand why the waitress urged her to leave and hide and thought it's a surprise. Long story short, police got called and nearly arrested my dad until mom cleared the air, showed her passport, and said they were married for over 25 years. No hard feelings. They left a decent tip for the restaurant for doing something and laughed at the situation, more like miscommunication. Now, on Friday, I was telling this story to my work friend, and we both agreed that it was funny. One of our work colleagues, Nancy, intervened and said if she was the police officer, she would still take my dad into custody, as due to their age difference, it's clear to her that my mother was groomed by him. Just hearing that wanted me to vomit, since my parents met each other when both of them had successful careers, and my dad was working as a member of the police force himself for years and adopted me and raised me as his own daughter. I snapped and asked Nancy to mind her own business and stop making assumptions, but she carried on. I had no choice but to get the manager involved, and both of us got dismissed until Monday to wait for HR to look into the issue. Since then, Nancy posted a rant on social media and called me an a-hole for supporting grooming of women by older rich men, and some other people agreed with her. This entire situation makes me angry, but am I the a-hole for reporting her to the management? Not the a-hole. Nancy is way out of line. Take a screenshot of her rants for HR. Yes, HR needs to know how Nancy's being an awful bully on social media. Her behavior is unacceptable. I feel like this post is a great example of the term grooming being overused/misused. Even though there's an 11-year age difference between OP's parents, when they met, they were both at a place where they were stable and successful with their individual lives. There's not a gap in life experience, which is where it matters. Grooming isn't about the numerical age gap. A couple might have a 4-year age gap, that is 15 and 19, and still qualify as grooming if one partner is taking advantage of the life experience difference between them. Obviously, it's more likely if there is a big numerical gap, but it isn't everything. Not stay home. You ask her to stop. She did not. Make sure you document everything she does. Screenshot Facebook rant and anything else. IRT this issue, especially if it continues after HR talks to her. Not stay home. Shalma certainly looks like a grown woman capable of making her own choices, rather than having randos concerned trolling her. Not stay home. The age difference is 11 years. I have a lot of family that have that age difference. Your coworker is sticking her nose in where it doesn't belong, and she has blown it out of context. I would also tell HR that she has put this in social media. Take a screenshot if you can for proof, as this is totally wrong. 11 years is no big deal since they were married when she was 28. Obviously, there are situations where 11 years would be grooming, but this is so not that. Thank God Nancy's not a police officer. Exactly. A 15-year-old with a 25-year-old? Definitely grooming and highly inappropriate. A 25-year-old with a 35-year-old? No big deal. Edit. It seems a lot of people think that somehow my mom looks like a young teen. She isn't. I'd say she looks about middle 30s, judging by my colleagues guessing her age. She uses Botox and other therapies to keep young as her job involves meeting a lot of people, be seen by a lot of people, so she has to look presentable. Before someone else jumps on it, no, it's not prostitution or anything like that. Think more like in filming/acting. Possibly she stole her secret of being forever young from Paul Rudd or Jared Leto, I don't know. Where we live, grooming in adults is recognized, but mostly in a way to push someone towards prostitution or trafficking. And to the person who said my dad was sleeping with my mom since she was 18, please seek help. They didn't even know each other until my mom was 25 and already pregnant with me. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to take pictures with my stepsister on her birthday? My mom was an alcoholic and cheater, and my dad divorced her when I was 8. I was not his child biologically, but I still got custody. He hired a nanny, and I didn't really see him a lot as he was always working. He remarried when I was 10, and I have a stepsister who is a year younger than me. My dad is a really engaged parent with my stepsister. My dad pretty much told me when I was 13 that the only reason he had fought for custody was because he knew mom used to drive drunk. I feel like a guest at his house, and he doesn't talk to me a lot. I have never been excluded from anything, but it always is a pity invite out of obligation. I do look a lot like mom, and I think that is why he doesn't like me. I know that I am an obligation, and I should be grateful that I am not in a foster home right now. I go to a good school. I will never have to worry about college debt. But I don't belong here, and I know that he will probably not want anything to do with me once I'm done with college. It was my stepsister's 16th birthday, and they made a huge deal out of it. My dad took time off from work. My stepmom baked a cake, and they got her things based on her favorite movies and books. It was a small party with just her uncle and aunt invited. I don't know why, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. For my birthday, I got cheap store-bought cake that I cut alone with stepmom late at night because dad was busy, and my sister couldn't be bothered to stop gaming to come down. I was really close to crying. I was so freaking jealous and hurt. I know that I am an awful baggage that really shouldn't be here, and I just didn't want to pretend anymore. They wanted to take a family photo, and my stepmom asked me to join them, but I told her that I didn't want to. They were okay with it, but my stepsister asked again, but I was really not in a mental space to take a photo with them. They took the photo without me, and my sister is very mad at me because I didn't want to take pictures with her. My stepmom is also slightly annoyed and is frosty with me. I feel guilty. I should have sucked it up and just took the photo. I was just drawing attention to myself, and I shouldn't have done that. I feel like a petulant child. Now for the comments. I want to address this first. You absolutely do not have to be blindly grateful for the situation. Well, I'm glad that he took you in to prevent you being in danger with your mother. He ultimately chose to be your parent, and is failing at that. He was failing at that when he didn't engage with you. He failed at that when he did then engage with your stepsister, showing that this isn't a biology thing. And he royally failed by telling you a supposed reason for getting custody of you. Just because things could be worse doesn't mean that you don't deserve better. Now to your question. No, you're not the a-hole. You live in a family that has made you feel like this. I know that I'm an awful baggage that really shouldn't be here, and I just didn't want to pretend anymore. You shouldn't have sucked it up. You shouldn't have to ignore the way that they treat you. I'm so sorry that you were treated this way. I only hope that when you go to college in a year, you can start making your life the one that you want and deserve. I feel guilty as hell. I am well provided for, and every time I think about the money he's spending on me, I feel a bit sick. He doesn't really want to do it, but he has to because he was sure that mom would have endangered me. I feel guilty that I'm willing to accept so much from someone who doesn't want me around. Taking things from people who don't want to give is so selfish, and I feel like I'm being selfish by accepting everything. You shouldn't feel guilty about your father doing his own job. It's his job as a father to provide for you, whether he wants to or not, and it's not your fault that you were born or that he was forced to take care of you. Not stay home. Oh, honey, I am so sorry. I truly understand how hurtful this is. I was the black sheep of an extremely dysfunctional family. Alcoholism, abuse. I want you to hear this, okay? Because these things get in deep and leave bad scars, and you need to know that none of any of this is your fault. There's nothing inherently wrong with you, and you deserve better. You deserve better. You are worthy. Your parents being unable to fulfill the role of loving and nurturing you is indicative of their deficiency, not yours. There's nothing petty about being hurt by this. It's hurtful. The adults responsible for helping you develop your map of the world are inadvertently teaching you that you matter less than others. Do not accept this as a reality. Without knowing them, I have a tendency to suspect that they lack the emotional intelligence to realize this themselves. It doesn't excuse it, but may be helpful to you to realize there isn't malice towards you motivating this behavior, just ignorance. You are not stay home. You can get through this, and I can tell you there is a world of people out there who are going to love you so much you won't know how to handle it. You're just gonna hang on until you can strike out on your own. Thank you. I have been struggling a lot lately. I know that I'm going to leave home this year, and I really had hoped that they would have warmed up to me by now, but they haven't. I know that once they sent me off to college, I will be a stranger, and it is so scary. I do have memories of good times with my dad and mom, and I know that he used to love me. I just need to go through this. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for taking my sister's money after finding out she's been using my card? For context, I, 17 male, have been on and off with working since I would mainly focus on school, but do some side gigs or do seasonal work so I can save some money to help me get my first car. My little sister's 13 female has had a money issue in the past. For a few days now, I noticed on my bank app that random transactions were on my card. Example, Apple Bill, AliExpress, and Depop. I originally thought these were late charges as I had ordered stuff from those places. But when I called my bank, they informed me these looked like recent transactions, and I had to lock my card due to fraud. The total of the amount of money that was taken out of my account was $67.39. I informed my mother about the situation, and she said she would keep an eye on everyone in the family to see who was using it. Today I had to go to in-person school and I left my wallet at home. Once again, I see another transaction of $1.05 was placed on my credit card, and I received a message from a Depop account asking for confirmation of a Squishmallow. Immediately got upset, called my mom and demanded that she gets my sister and tell her that I know that she's been using my card, and that when I get home she will have to pay me back. I got home and my sister refused to give up any money, insisting that I can't take her money, and that she would do all my chores and that I can cancel the items she ordered, but still refusing to give up any money. I got angry and went through my sister's wallet and took out the whole amount that was taken out of my card. My mom thinks that I went too far and that I was in the wrong and that my sister is going to have major trust issues with me, but I don't think I did anything wrong. Not stay home. Your mom is enabling your sister's bad behavior. I think it's funny that your mom is concerned about your sister having trust issues because you took the money that was owed to you, when really your sister is the one who broke your trust by using your card behind your back. OP's sister issue has nothing to do with trust. It's called theft. Mom is enabling her in a very dangerous way. I'll stay home. Your mother is not doing her job as a parent. She's the one who should be making your sister pay you back and making her apologize for stealing from you. I'll stay home. You're totally right. Like, how does a 13-year-old have past money issues? Seems like mom has been ignoring this behavior from the sister for a while. Not stay home. Your sister stole from you. There should be no question that she should pay everything back, and there should be other consequences as well. Literally this. I'm baffled by the mom's reaction. Edit. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone replying in this post, regardless of whether you put NTA, YTA, or ESH. Your opinions are helping me with the situation. There was something I would like to clarify now that I have the time to put it all out, as when I first made this post, it was in a fit of rage. My sister had always had a money issue growing up. During the time when my mother and father were still together, my father was the type to spoil her, giving her money and just letting her spend whatever and however she wanted. When my father left, she only started to receive any type of allowance through our mother by chores. Regarding the card I have is under a student/teen/kid plan with my mom's bank. I have the habit of where I tend to forget my keys and wallet at home, so I do believe that's how my sister was able to grab my card information. Either way, today I locked both my debit and credit and requested to receive a new one. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to give my husband's ex-wife more money? I, 33 female, and my husband, 36 male, have been together for 3 years, recently married this past year, and we have a 1-year-old child together. My husband has 2 kids from a previous marriage, Zara, 16 female, and Sam, 18 male. My husband is a disabled veteran, and his child support is based on his government compensation, Social Security. Social Security determines the amount of child support his ex-wife receives per child, and her child support payments dropped in half when our son turned 18 and dropped out of high school. We had no issues with his ex-wife until we married, and now his ex-wife wants more money because my income is significantly more than my husband's. His ex-wife also wants compensation for their 18 male, who lives at home with her. We told our son Sam that he could live with us as long as he promised to work on his GED, but he refused. I currently pay for Zara's cell phone and car insurance. So am I the a-hole for not offering more money for child support? Just want to add, ex-wife worked at CVS as a pharmacy tech for years. When I married my husband, she quit her job and started part-timing as a waitress. Ex-wife and the kids live with the grandparents, and we see the kids maybe once a month due to both kids having jobs. Ex-wife does not want to go to court because she is still paying on lawyers' fees from her second marriage and custody battle. So she wants us to come to an agreement to give her more money. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Take her to court. She gave up a better paying job to be a waitress and is trying to leech off you and your husband and expects you to pay for a legal adult kid who has made a bad choice of not continuing or even finishing his education? Woof. We recently found out that Zara is missing school, and the ex-wife texted my husband that she will have our daughter drop out of school before being taken to court by the school for failure to go to school/truancy. Our daughter drives to school, and her mom works evenings, so she's at home when our daughter is missing school. Seems like the husband needs to get CPS and law enforcement involved. Your income has nothing to do with his child support. Not the a-hole. Just need to be careful about the possibility of imputed income, depending on where you live. True, I live in Netherlands, and the income of the new partner may mean that you have to pay more alimony here, because from that moment on, you can share living costs with someone, which increases your financial capacity. Not the a-hole. She shouldn't have left her better paying job to wait tables. Her financial situation is not your problem. Furthermore, she knows what she is asking is too ridiculous to take to court and is hoping you'll take pity on her. It's what it looks like. I hope your husband is in agreement with you. Joint finances or not, it would be coming from money you earned. And the layabout son needs to do something to better his life as well. Yeah, we are getting mixed opinions from my husband's family if we should give more money or not. My husband agrees with me. Anytime our older kids need clothes or shoes, we pay for them. We give the kids gas money. We've also helped with their car repairs. So we don't understand her logic for us giving her more money a month just because. We told the ex-wife that both kids could live with us if the financial strain was too much, and she adamantly refused. I also want to add that his ex-wife has claimed both kids on her taxes since their divorce 10 years ago. So, if both kids lived with us, she wouldn't receive child support or tax credits. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to share my lottery winnings with my boyfriend's nephews? Children in our country sometimes sell stuff for their schools to fund school trips, etc. I think many countries do that, so I don't need to explain more. Usually, it's around big holidays, etc., and we have a Christmas lottery, something many schools sell. My boyfriend and I have been together for 13 years, and we are happily child-free. We have good incomes and comfortable living. My boyfriend's sister and her husband also have good incomes and comfortable living. But I feel sometimes that she always tries to hint that we make more than we spend because we don't have children. Excellent deduction. And that maybe we should give more presents and stuff to her 2 sons. I don't agree. I put around 30 to 60 euros on a present. And whether it's good or bad, I don't care. I come from money as my parents had good jobs, but we learned from young age that is never the value of the present. Yet I had the happiest upbringing. Anyway, the sons get a couple dozens or more lotteries each to sell, and the idea is to go around the neighborhood, etc. But they're too lazy, and they make the family buy everything. And since my boyfriend and I have nothing important to spend money on, we end up buying the majority of the tickets, around 200 to 300 euros worth each occasion. It angers me a bit in the beginning, but my boyfriend seemed uncomfortable saying no, and I hate making him uncomfortable, so I said, oh well. This Christmas, I won about 150,000 euros. I was so happy because I never win stuff. But when the nephews heard this, they wanted their ticket back. I was shocked and said hell no. They called me like 50 times, and my boyfriend's sister and her sons showed up next morning to talk, then argue, then fight me. Then she asked to at least split it 50-50 with them, but I wouldn't budge. All three left in tears saying they will take me to court, and my boyfriend wants me to split or I'm being an a-hole. I usually donate 20% of my bonuses, inheritance, or any big chunk of money I get to charity. I thought I would do that and buy the boys the bicycles they were saving for, which cost around $2,500 each. I don't know why, but now I won't even buy them the bicycles. Am I the a-hole? Edit. My boyfriend is the one who pays for the tickets. He then splits the tickets. The winning ticket was one of mine. Not the a-hole. It's your money to do whatever you want with. Screw your boyfriend's family for being leeches, and screw your boyfriend for not standing up for you. Hope you should take the money and pay for the boyfriend to get therapy to start learning healthy boundaries and how to say no to family. Not the a-hole. If anyone else, more specifically a stranger, had gotten that winning ticket and not you, they probably never would have asked them to split the money, because that would be rude. But since it's their uncle's girlfriend, then apparently all of that goes out the door. You bought the tickets. The transaction was finished, so they were 100% your tickets and not theirs. So I don't see why you should have to share. Not the a-hole. Which court they were planning to take you? The court of entitlement? Court of idiots? If you decide to donate some money to charity, do it in their names. Maybe buy bicycles to kids in shelter or something. Your boyfriend should learn some boundaries. If he's fine being a doormat, that's on him. But he shouldn't expect you to be. If he really thinks you are an a-hole, then maybe he isn't the one for you. And don't forget to report them to the organizers for trying to claim ownership of tickets they sold, not the a-hole OP. Not the a-hole. Seems like over 13 years you've spent thousands on these lottery tickets, plus gifts. You've been more than generous. They have no right to the winnings, any more than the clerk at a corner shop who sells a winning ticket. As for the ultra-expensive bikes, there's no reason they need them. If they are even considering such a purchase, they're not hurting financially. I'd suspect you were told about their saving up before Christmas in hopes you'd give them a significant cash gift towards the bikes, regardless of what they then spent it on. P.S. We have the same issue with fundraising in the US. Raffle tickets, cookies, whatever the kids are supposed to sell, it ends up with the parents pushing the stuff on relatives, rather than the kids selling to neighbors like it used to be. I used to make a cash donation instead. Next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister and her kid out of my house because she refused to cover the damage her kid caused? My sister has been living with me for close to a year along with her 6-year-old son. She recently became homeless after what I'm gonna be nice and just call a series of bad choices. And since no one else would take her or her kid in, I decided to let them live with me until she can get back on her feet. Now, I'm a reasonable person, and I only have a few rules. Mainly, don't touch my things. Just respect my personal space and you're golden. That's not an unreasonable rule, right? Well, unfortunately, my sister just refuses to discipline her kid. Every day, it's just constant tantrums and fits. At any attempt I make to set him straight, gets my sister up in arms about how he can't help it. But I try my best to bear with it, because I know these two have literally nowhere else to go. Recently as well, I finally built my own gaming PC after months of work and thousands of dollars spent, and I was beyond thrilled it came out so well. Of course, I immediately told my nephew not to touch it, and that he is under no circumstances allowed near it. He just about break everything else, so I don't think I'm being harsh here in saying I don't want him near it. I tell my sister as well to keep him away from it, but she just says I shouldn't bully him. Cut to a few days ago, and he's throwing yet another tantrum because he wants to play Minecraft on my PC. I of course tell him no, but my sister is getting on my case about how it's not fair I get to be the only one to play it. I don't have time to deal with this. I need to run errands, but I'm hoping in vain that my sister can control him for once. The actual area with my PC set up is an open room with no door. Think an office space but with figurines and such, so it's not like I can lock it off like I could do my room. Not even asking them to come with me worked, since my sister just refused and my nephew screaming and crying certainly isn't a one to deal with when shopping. Come time I return, I immediately check to see if the PC is safe, and what I find is broken glass everywhere. My monitor is on the floor and the PC tower practically in pieces. I'm beyond fuming now, and confronts my sister about what happened. She doesn't even try to hide it. She just says she let him on but couldn't figure out how to launch Minecraft. And when nephew got mad he couldn't play, he had a meltdown. I of course demand she cover the costs to replace/repair. But she says it's my fault for not letting him play, and that she doesn't owe me anything. By this point, I had enough and packed all of their things, and told both of them to get out or else I'm calling the police. She reluctantly left before snipping, "I hope you're happy," under her breath. Over the next few days, I'm bombarded with texts and voicemails from her, calling me a bad brother and that it's my fault they're homeless. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. No, it is her fault she's homeless again. Harsh as I may sound, you set rules and boundaries in your home. Not only did she not try to abide by your requests, she override them. Your rules didn't matter to her. Your belongings didn't matter to her. Very sad. The kid shouldn't have done what he did, but it seems like he has some kind of disability or disorder, because it's not normal for a 6-year-old to completely destroy a PC. Or maybe poor parenting. My 3-year-old niece knows better than to throw a fit like that. If she's mad at you, she gets very, very quiet. I'd love to know what evil she's planning. OMG. Nope. Not the a-hole. Just FYI, cause it sounds like you don't have any other kids in your life. Your nephew didn't have a meltdown. A meltdown is a kid having big feelings they don't know what to do with, and it comes out big. Your nephew is destructive and undisciplined. Not sure how he can get through school if this is how he acts. If this isn't fixed ASAP, he's probably going to develop something like defined oppositional disorder. You can't let kids get away with destroying things, even if it's just a toy, when they don't get their way. That sounds like what happened though. Children need to have emotional regulation modeled and taught to them. They can also learn to seek reactions from adults if they're not getting the attention they want in other ways. Not the a-hole. I'm starting to understand what some of your sister's bad decisions might have been. The rules you set up were completely reasonable, especially since you were letting her stay there as a favor. One of the most basic things she could do is keep her kid under control. She brought this entirely on herself. And, despite what she said, none of this is your fault. And she's going to continue to be homeless and whatnot until she takes responsibility for her own choices. Last story. Am I the a-hole for screwing over my sister-in-law? I, 26 female, have been married for 7 years. My husband and I were young when we got together, and as a result, I became like another kid to his parents. But that's a story for just now. Anyways, I never thought of his sister, 27 female, as anything less than my own. So when she had her kid, 2 male, I was excited. I've got my own kids, but I was happy to have a nephew. So my sister-in-law lives next door with her parents. The issue is that I've become the baby drop-off center. I need to run to the store turns into me texting her 4+ hours later trying to figure out where she is. It's always someone else's fault on why she's late. I'm in college online though and can't exactly do my work when her kid is on a sleeping schedule of 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. My kids attend school and need their sleep though they have a decent bedtime. I'll also add that I have a hard time telling people no and currently in therapy for that among other issues. Because of those reasons, when she came to me saying she had a job offer, she asked which of 2 schedules worked for me. Didn't even ask if I would be the babysitter. I told her neither did, so we agreed to a schedule where I'd watch him half the schedule and her parents would watch him the other. Usually her parents back out, but I told her that wasn't going to be able to happen. Well, her first interview/training is today. She told me days ago that her dad was watching her kid since he'd probably still be asleep. Okay, awesome. Then at 2 a.m. the day off, she messaged me and said, "You're still able to watch him tomorrow, right?" I hope so because I have no one else. I was angry and told her so. I told her I'm being taken advantage of, and letting me know last minute she wasn't having her dad watch him isn't okay. Dad isn't sick, just didn't want to. I told her how it isn't right that everyone else can say that they don't want to and it's okay because she knows I have a hard time saying no. It ended with her apologizing and begging me to keep him, but I still said no. She told me she will lose the job if she can't find a babysitter, and I told her he isn't my kid, so it's not my issue. My mother-in-law then messaged me telling me she's going to straighten me out and that if my nephew is such a bother, then I just won't keep him anymore. She also told me I'm an awful person for screwing over my sister, and she expected more from me. My husband agrees with me but won't say anything to his mom and sister. Am I the a-hole? Should I watch him anyways? Not the a-hole. Both you and your husband need to stand your ground. You aren't responsible for sister-in-law's kid. If your mother-in-law is so upset, why doesn't she look after her grandchild? Both you and your husband need to start setting some boundaries with sister-in-law. Otherwise, they will continue to take advantage of you not being able to say no. Your kids and your family come first. Added to say that your husband is the a-hole for not backing you up here. He may agree with you, but him keeping quiet is just as bad. He needs to grow a backbone and speak to his sister and parents. Agreed. If Opie's husband doesn't talk to her parents, they will continue to take advantage of Opie's inability to speak. This will not end Opie's problem. Massive, not the a-hole. She's taking advantage of you, pure and simple. And your mother-in-law's behavior is also appalling. Why doesn't she watch him? Please keep standing up for yourself. Mother-in-law's one of those I shouldn't have to, but you should people. You are not going to watch him anymore? Okay, mother-in-law, you can do it then and not back out. Straighten me out? Now, lady, I am straight a line about my personal space and not watching your grandkids. Awful person? Cool. Don't call or message me anymore if I am awful. Not the a-hole. We've been at each other's throats for some serious overstepping she did a few months ago. Finally made peace, though not made up, as I'll never forgive her for what she did. And now she's gonna straighten me out because she's sick of me thinking I'm better than everyone. Lol. This isn't the first time she's said that. It lasted a day before I had my nephew again. Stand your ground and polish your spine. Do not take your nephew again. As for your mother-in-law, her language toward you more than justifies cutting her off for a while and not allowing her to be around your child. She freaking threatened you.